Okay, next we look at the variation in employee conduct. Okay, based on research, there is an average way average portion of how employees conduct in an organization. So on average, there are 10% that follow their own values and beliefs. They believe that their values are superior to those of others in the company. So they have a strong, the 10%, minority of 10% have very strong internal values, and they believe that their values is superior to those others in the company. On the extreme, the other 10%, another 10% do not have have very weak values and beliefs. They tend to take advantage of situations if the penalty is less than the benefit and the risk of being caught is low. So the top 10% are those who have very strong values and beliefs. In fact, they believe that their values are stronger than the organization. But the bottom 10% are those that don't have any values, or have very low values, that when having the opportunity, they will take advantage of situations, especially if organizations do not have a penalty for unethical behavior. And these people will take advantage of situations if they see that the penalty is less than the benefit that they will get through their unethical behavior. Whereas the more in the middle, the 80% can be split into 40% to the that is trying to follow company policies, those who try to get along, or those who obey the company's policies, values, norms. Okay, they will comply with the ethics. And the other 40%, they are very easily to be swayed. Okay, they follow what their group is doing. They will see what is their boss doing, and if their bosses are more ethical, then they will follow to the ethics. But if their bosses are less ethical, then they will be less ethical as well. So these people, they go along with the group, with the work group, or their superiors, or their team members. Okay, they just follow the crowd. Okay, so 10% who have very strong principles, and they may be the ones that will do the whistleblowing. If they see any wrongdoing in the organization, they are the ones that will be doing the whistleblowing. And then there are those who are the 40%, are those that they are ethical in of themselves. They follow the rules, but they are not strong enough to do whistleblowing. The next 40% are those that follow the crowd. They of themselves, they don't have any ethical stance. They will just follow what other people are doing. But then the last 10% are those who take advantage of any loopholes, any weaknesses in the organization's culture, policies, or rules. Okay, so basically this is the same thing. So the bottom 10% take advantage of situations to further their own personal interests, and they are more likely to manipulate, cheat, act in a self-serving manner. The next 40% goes along with most matters, and they are most concerned about the social implications of their actions. If I do this, how will other people accept me? How will I be able to blend in with the people? So they always think about the social implications of their actions, rather than the ethical implications of their actions. The middle top 40% will always try to follow company rules and policies, and they have a strong grasp of corporate culture's definition of acceptable behavior. Okay, at least in an organization, uh, we will we um, we will be very well off if we can get people to be within this middle top 40%. And then the top 10%. So the top 10% maintain formal ethical standards that focus on rights, duties, and rules, and they believe that their values are right and superior to the values of others. Okay, the question is, can people control their actions within a corporate culture? So we've looked at based on topic 6, we've seen that ethical decision making is very much influenced by individual factors and corporate factors. So so these two things, they interact or they mingle. So as individuals, would individuals be affected by the corporate culture? Okay, so if a company has a weak corporate culture, will that influence the individual to make unethical decisions? So many people find it hard to believe an organization's culture can exert so strong an influence on individuals' behavior, but it does. Okay, there is, to some extent, the organizational culture will have a strong influence on individual behavior. Ethical decisions within organizations are often made by committees and formal or informal groups, and not by individuals. Okay, therefore, a lot of times, corporate or the organizational factor will supersede the individual factors, because when organizations make decisions, most of the time the decisions are made by groups, committees, informal or informal groups, and rather than individuals. Therefore, the organizational factors sometimes supersede the individual factors. Most new employees in highly bureaucratic organizations have limited input. Okay, this is further the case when the company is a highly bureaucratic organization, because in highly bureaucratic organizations, new employees are hardly able to give their opinion. Their voices are hardly heard. Therefore, they have virtually almost zero influence on ethical decision making. And individuals entering business usually need years of experience within a specific industry to understand and how to resolve ethical close calls.